Hi everyone, I would like to take a tour of our Calculus 2 course. So I'm going to share my screen now and head over there. So you'll see me in the corner there, and we'll take a look in Moodle. So to enter our course, you'll type in moodle.esc.edu, and that brings you to the General SUNY Empire State College Moodle page. You'll scroll down till you find the Calculus 2 course for our current term. And at the top of the page, you'll see the announcements area, the ask a question area, and the course schedule. I'd like to talk about each of those areas now. When you go into the announcements area, you will see the announcement for the week. Right now, there is a welcome announcement and first steps. So prior to the first week of the course, there are 4 steps to complete. The first one is to do the Moodle orientation, and if you're new to SUNY Empire State College, I highly recommend that you do this. The second thing to do is to install Maple. This is a free software, and we will be using this. This is required for our course. The third thing, please introduce yourself to the icebreaker discussion. And number 4, please set up your account in MyMathlab. So to set up your account in MyMathlab, you will head over here to mymathlab.com. And I'll just show you the entry page for that. Looks like this. And you'll go down here and click on Student. Now, if you have an account from your Calculus 1 course, you don't need to pay again for our Calculus 2 course. You can use your same account, so you can just sign in at that point. Now, the other piece of information that you'll need here is our course ID. So if you go down here, you'll need your email address, the course ID, which is that long code I just shared, and then you'll either need to have paid for MyMathlab. You can pay for that when you complete the process now with a credit card, or you can do a 14-day free trial. Or again, if you already just did Calculus 1 with us here at Empire State College, you do not need to pay again. The system recognizes the same access code. Okay, we'll come back and talk about MyMathlab in a few minutes, but that's what you need to do prior to engaging in the course. Going back to our course homepage, we have the Ask a Question area. This is a great question area to use. I check this area every time I log into the course, and our course will be much more doable and fun and interactive with the more questions that you post. So please take a moment to post your questions here. Lastly, the course schedule area. I don't have the dates in here right now because our term has not started. I will populate those in the next day or two, and you will have a start date and end date for each module. Our course is 15 weeks long, and you can see in the first week of the course, which begins on the 18th of January, there's several items to do. We're working in Chapter 7, and you can see that there's some MyMathlab activities to work on. I highly recommend printing this document out or bookmarking it. This is like your to-do list for each week of our course. Going back to the course homepage here, down at the bottom, you will see several tabs. The course information tab has our syllabus, which is a very important grading information, including the late work policy. It also talks about the percentages in the categories as well as grades. Also, you will see information about MyMathlab. Very important here are 2 rubrics. There's the MyMathlab discussion rubric and the Maple discussion rubric. If you take a look at those, please use these as you write your discussion post. So these are the categories for which points are assigned. So the first category here is summary and analysis. When you do your MyMathlab math problem and you type that up or you handwrite your solution, that's great. But at the bottom of your post, you also need to include a summary or analysis. So summarize the main skills that you used, or what was the point of the article? Was there anything tricky about it? What did you learn? Just include a few sentences at the end. Okay, and you can see several other pieces that are evaluated as well as the timeliness. So please use those sometimes students have questions on what makes a good discussion post, and it's all right here in the rubrics. The Maple discussion is a little bit different because we're using the Maple software, but all that information is right there. Okay, back to our course homepage. Our first module is Module 1. If you take a look here, there's an overview as well as the homework and the discussions and then a quiz. You'll notice that there's no lectures in our course. So our course is not a direct instruction model. I'm not going to sit and lecture to you for hours on end and have you fall asleep. The way our course is designed, it's designed to have you go into MyMathlab to work on the problems. Some are going to be easy for you, some are not. And when you get to those challenging problems, we are hoping that you're going to work through them using some of the tutorials. We're hoping that you'll reach out to me with questions, and that's where the interaction and engagement in this course happens. Okay, so I'm not going to lecture at you, but I'm certainly going to be online every day talking to you about mathematics, but it does require your reaching out with questions and ideas. All right, so let's head over and take a look at what MyMathlab looks like. So when you get into MyMathlab, let's go to the course home. You will have several buttons along the left-hand side. Your homework is listed under assignments. I'll go to the first assignment. There's several questions here. Work on these early. Don't wait to the last minute because 49 questions is probably too much to do in one day. Oops, I think, there we go. So question 1. So previously you can see I went in here and I was playing around and I was intentionally entering wrong answers, making a demonstration for another student. But let's take a look at how this works. So this question is asking us to write an equation of the line containing the given point and perpendicular to the given line. So if you know how to do this, great, go right ahead and do that. This is a review question, so this one might be a little bit easy. But if you feel like you need a refresher on this topic, in the question help area, there is the help me solve this and view an example. So if we go help me solve this, you can see that the system's prompting you along for the solution. And this can be really helpful for when you get to those challenging problems. So the first part says find the slope-intercept form of the equation, and so I can move that 9x over to the other side. This is negative 9x plus 2, and I enter that, and the system says good job. Now suppose I get to another problem and I enter the wrong answer. So suppose it says what's the slope? I know the slope is negative 9, but let's pretend I enter 5 just to be see what the system will tell me. Okay, and the system gives me some feedback here. And so I say, oh, okay, yep. Now I see the slope really, it's negative 9. I'll enter that, and it continues to prompt me along. So that's a great tool to use. There's also view an example, and this will actually work out a problem that's very similar step by step. And this can be also a great way for kind of getting unstuck if you get into one of those challenging problems. Great, I'll head back to Moodle. So again, if you have any questions, please post them on the Ask a Question board. I monitor that area every day. My contact information is over on the right-hand side. The Ask a Question board is a great place to reach out to me. There's also Moodle Messages. Moodle Messages is at the top of the screen. If you click on the little icon that looks like a conversation bubble, that brings you to Moodle Messages. That's the main way we'll be using, we'll be communicating in this class privately. It's kind of like course email. There's also a quick mail tool, but we generally don't use that. And there's regular email, but again, the college really likes us to keep everything within Moodle, so we will use Moodle Messages as our primary means of communication. So I'm online 6 to 7 days a week, and I generally get back to everyone within 24 to 48 hours. So if you don't hear from me within that time frame, it's probably because I didn't receive your message, or maybe you didn't receive my reply. So definitely reach out to me again. I'm happy to help you, and I really enjoy talking about mathematics. So I really look forward to hearing from you in this course. In terms of grading, I usually grade quite quickly, but the formal policy at the college is that assignments are graded within 7 days of the due date. So generally I'm ahead of that schedule, but if there's a particularly busy week, do keep in mind that grades might be posted up to 7 days from the due date. Okay, great. If you have any questions, please let me know.